Hello everybody and welcome to the knockout top 16 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! European Championships 2014. This round we have Przemyslaw Strzalka versus Miccolo Mazzoleni. Przemyslav being from Poland and Miccolo being from Italy.
Yeah, the matchup that we've got here is Przemyslav is playing Gierga and Miccolo is playing Spellbook.
Przemyslav is actually the Polish national champion as well, so we expect a
very, very good game here. Right now we're down to the final 16, our remaining players. We've seen Spellbooks win every feature match we've had up here on the stream, so will they continue to progress in this tournament, giving us a potential 2-year back-to-back win on Spellbooks?
Very possible.
Or will Przemyslav say it's time for the new gears to take over and Gierga be removing Miccolo from the tournament? We'll have to find out. The players are getting seated and their hands are... We're going to be getting their hand data to you as quickly as possible. When I first saw the name, I nearly had a small heart attack. Actually got a note from PJ on the correct pronunciation. I'll also try and talk a little bit slower. I realise I started to get a bit fast. A little bit excited.
And just a kind of theme with the last Bujin match, slow and steady does win the race.
Yes, it does. It most certainly does. Okay, so we're just waiting for the hand selecting. We've got a Gierga Arsenal, Black Corner Heaven. I believe that's a wire tap. Gierga Armor, Bottomless Trap Hole, and Gierga Gear.
You have the eyes of a hawk.
Oh no, it's a Fiendish Chain and a...
It's Gierga Gear.
Is it Gierga Gear?
You were right about the wire tap as well.
Yes. Okay.
Right, Trap Hole, Trap Tricks, Trap Hole Nightmare.
Yep.
Again.
In fact, this is a lot easier for you guys rather than relying on me. And Miccolo's hand's getting loaded in now. We've got a Spellbook of Fate, Trap Tricks, Trap Hole Nightmare, Spellbook of Eternity, and Bottomless Trap Hole.
So a very heavy hand for a spell.
Yeah, that's a compulsory evacuation device there as well. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that hand, especially against this Gierga hand, which looks pretty strong. Okay, we're going to see 4 face down cards and a Gierga Armor. Miccolo's hand a little bit slow. A little bit slow for Spellbooks.
Spellbook of Master still not helping.
No, Spellbook of Master is not. He's not even able to activate it, and he has nothing to copy. So now Miccolo is going to be facing Przemyslav's multiple flips from Gierga Armor. If he can keep that around, this field is going to get out of control pretty quickly. It takes a minute to consider what he's going for, the sequence of plays. And we've got 3 Spellbooks in Miccolo's hand that he cannot use right now. We've got a Trap Tricks, Trap Hole Nightmare, Bottomless Trap Hole compulsory. So he has got some defense against a hard push from Przemyslav, which would encourage Przemyslav to take a slower approach, which will give Miccolo an opportunity to draw into some more cards that he can use and allow him to piece together all those cards in his hand. There is a wire tap down though, so I imagine Przemyslav is not going to be worrying too much about these face down cards.
Gierga indexing in field, and I'm assuming that's the bottomless.
He looks it up.
There
Yep.
it is. And the wire. Oh, no wire tap.
No wire tap. Okay.
Interesting.
He probably has a follow-up, which is more important to him, or...
Oh, he's now looking at a wire tap.
Gierga Gear.
Ah, okay.
He wanted to test the waters, get Miccolo to remove one of those cards, and now make sure that what he probably thinks is his more important play, let that resolve. So we're seeing 2 Gierganium monsters being summoned.
Giergiano
Giergiano.
is just a lovely bit of synergy for the Gigi deck.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to see another Xe summon. Is it another Geargun X? Or
more than likely, it is pretty much the plain Gear deck.
Yes.
Now, what else we got face down on Miccolo's side of the field? Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, which, ooh, and a compulsory evacuation device. Bounces that back. Now he's really probably thinking.
This image is what happens to the loser of this round. Unfortunately, going to be removed from the tournament. Not the whole tournament area, but.
No, we're not removing anybody from the venue for losing.
And there's a wiretap being used on compulsory.
Fortunately, there is a Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare that's going to be getting annoying.
Yeah, he makes sure that the Geargun X is used, and his opponent is going to Miccolo definitely using that Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. And yeah, he sets the other Geargun armor in his hand, so he's Miccolo's still now looking to get started, and he draws another spellbook that he can't use, and there's a Geargun armor face down on the field. Things could start getting really nasty for Miccolo's turn. He just passes his turn, he doesn't even set any cards. Geargun armor. Just there, going to be allowing Przemyslav to search his deck for... Well, let's see what he goes with. Giga Arsenal. Okay. There's also a Black Corner Heaven in Przemyslav's hand. He's going to be carrying a direct attack with his Giga Armor and Giga Arsenal. Okay, Giga Armor. Yep. Gonna see another Xe summon. Daigusto Emerald. Daigusto Emerald. The effect of Daigusto Emerald here being used to return 3 monsters, which is going to be the Geargun X, Giganio, and a Giga Accelerator back to the main deck. Are we back? Okay, guys, sorry to apologise for that. We had some technical difficulties there. I think we came offline for a moment. So we got a Daigusto Emerald being summoned. The effect was used to return a Geargun X, a Giga Arsenal, and a Giganio Mark II back to the deck. I will show you the field so you can see how things have changed since you were cut off. So I got Phoenix Chain, Black Corner Heaven, Mystical Spade Typhoon, Daigusto Emerald, Wiretap, and Miccolo drawing another spellbook he cannot use. Well, he can, but he controls no spellcasters, so he's got no opportunity to activate many of these cards. This is one of the... well, this is definitely the place where you would not want to see a hand like this. Play comes back to Przemyslav and he draws a new card. That's a Soul Charge.
Which at this point in the game is pretty much going to nearly win him the game. Of course, he's going to be sacrificing his battle phase to be able to do it.
He might just select not to. His opponent's got an open field. He didn't use Gore's Emissary of Darkness last turn. So Przemyslav slowly walking damage into Miccolo. And in the same time, he's getting those Giga Armors. Okay, first spellbook that Miccolo can play is Spellbook Crescent Library.
Yeah, that's Spellbook Library of the Crescent. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, that one. I imagine what card gets added to his hand is going to decide whether or not Miccolo is going to be picking up his cards. He still controls no spellcaster, so the Grand Spellbook Tower, Spellbook of Wisdom, Spellbook of the Master, Spellbook of Fate, all completely unusable, and the Eternity has nothing to return, so Miccolo needs to... he really wants that Spellbook of Secrets. Spellbook of Power, he controls no spellbook, no prophecy monsters. Spellbook of Life, he has no prophecy monsters in his graveyard. So we actually have a 1 in 3 chance of seeing Miccolo with no plays for the 3rd turn in a row. Przemyslav knows this. And which card gets added? We all hold our breath. Yep, it just reveals his hand. It was not the spellbook, he was looking at Spellbook of Power. So Przemyslav taking that first game with Miccolo, unable to do anything after his initial...
Just a bad luck game, most definitely.
Yeah, Miccolo couldn't get in there. It's one of the weaknesses to spellbooks. You do occasionally get those hands where you just cannot do anything. The pieces didn't fall in. He had a 1 in 3 chance of getting the Spellbook of Secrets and being able to get started with the game, but when you consider he would be starting the game while his opponent controls Fiendish Chain, Black Corner Heaven, Mystical Space Typhoon, a Wiretap, a Giga Armor, Dagusta Emerald, with a Soul Charge in hand, and another Black Corner Heaven. Not so good against the Prophecy deck. It was not a very good start for Miccolo. Hopefully this doesn't affect his morale too much as they go into side decking. There's a good chance, more than a good chance, that both of these players have seen played a couple of matches this weekend against Prophecy and Girga, so they should be feeling very comfortable.
Przemyslav there looking very pleased with himself.
Yeah, it's always one of those big relief moments when you win the first game, because you know that the next game you've got an extra lifeline. If your opponent wins, you've got one more chance. For Miccolo, he knows that if he loses here, that's it. That's his the European Championship's over. It'd be such a shame to see him go out of the tournament because of a hand that he couldn't even get started on.
Do anything about.
It happens sometimes.
Look at the draw.
Yeah, you play a deck like Spellbooks and you can get hands like this. It's just one of the weaknesses to the deck.
Definitely.
Right, we'll just let them shuffle up and we'll let you know as soon as we see what's going on. Orange sleeves to match the orange shirt. We're in the right place for that, the Netherlands.
Yep.
From Przemyslav. He's trying to disguise himself as a local. I had a small chat with him just a few moments before the game. Really nice guy. Very, very friendly.
But no nicknames.
Yeah, I asked if I could shorten his name, and he asked me not to. But you know, that's to his credit. It's his name. It's not for me. It's not for me to name a player.
I will call you Steve.
He was a really good sport about it, though.
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting ready for game 2. Hopefully a little bit more action. A little bit deflating after we came from the razor's edge in the last game, where it was neck and neck to the end, to Miccolo unable to get started.
Do anything whatsoever. It reminds me of the Sylvan game, where just no cards were played. In fact, essentially it was the Sylvan game. There was no cards played whatsoever.
Yeah, it just decided, hey, it's game 1. Sees his opponent's first turn and just goes, yeah, okay. They shake hands as they go into game 2. Okay, so we're going to see a Black Corner Heaven, Trap Tricks, Trap Hole Nightmare, a Spell Book of the Master, Fiendish Chain. Yep. Spellbook of Wisdom, Spellbook of Power. We've got 2 Mystical Space Typhoons, a Book of Moon, a Wiretap, and an Upstart Goblin. Przemyslav, no monsters in this hand to get started with.
He has got the cards to get monsters, possibly, though, so...
He's got an Upstart Goblin. You see, I think even then he just sort of... he doesn't look pleased. Neither player has any monsters, and Miccolo again not drawing any way of getting to a monster. He has quite a few spells and traps. Okay, we're going to see the Upstart Goblin coming from Przemyslav. It's a Dark Hole. He does have a Giga monster, but it's not one that does a lot for him right now. Okay, we see 4 face down cards, no monsters from either player on their first turns. Miccolo drawing his card and setting it straight to his spell or trap zone. It's a Black Horn of Heaven that's just gone down on the field. Very good card against Giga, being able to negate the extra deck monsters and stop them ever seeing play, which the Giga deck is very renowned for, and he has 2 Black Horn of Heaven, so that's 2 Xe summons you can stop from Przemyslav. And Przemyslav draws a Macrocosmos, which is a very good card against the Spellbook deck, because it ends up leaving all the Spellbooks banished, which stops Spellbook of Fate, it stops Spellbook, Grand Spellbook Library, and it puts all of the... Oh, straight from the top, there we go, Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, finally. I'm going to be seeing a search from Miccolo. He's got a smile on his face, he's ready to start playing in the top 16. Spellbook of Secrets. Very good card. Bit of a complicated turn for Miccolo. And Macrocosmos is being activated in response to that Spellbook of Secrets, which means Spellbook of Secrets is going to be banished instead of going to the graveyard. That's going to cause a few problems for Miccolo a little bit later on. And he's also going to shut down that Spellbook of the Master because he doesn't have any spellbooks in his graveyard to copy. So again, it leaves another Miccolo getting cut off there. How does Przemyslav follow up from that Macrocosmos? He draws a Soul Charge, which is not very good when he controls the Macrocosmos. It's a bit of a conflict of interest between his cards there. Yep, he summons Gear Genio Mark II. Just charges it in. Miccolo letting that go, taking 500 points of damage. And his only spellbook monster, prophecy monster, is now banished. Oh, he's just drawn a Justice of the Prophecy.
going to see any response?
There's a lot of cards that could be used. Przemyslav says that's okay. Justice still there. Spellbook of Wisdom being used to prevent the Book of Moon. Okay. That's... Yep. Justice, just Przemyslav reading Justice of the Prophecy. For you guys at home, you can have a quick read of Justice here. Yeah, okay, we're going to see Justice being attributed. Going to let him have some searches there. Sorry, we're trying to be flagged very discreetly by someone from technical support, and we're trying to figure out from lick miming what is going on.
I believe he said that you have a message that you need to read.
Okay, that can wait. What's happening right now is the top 16, and that is what we're gonna see.
And
okay,
we've got
a
important thing.
Gearka armor in Przemyslav's hand. Where does he go from here? Okay, just give you a refresh of the field as we Spellbook Magician of Prophecy being summoned. Well, lots of cards involved now from both players having a slow start. Free spellbooks being revealed for High Priestess of the Prophecy. There's actually no answer on Przemyslav's side of the field.
What has he got set face down? If you don't mind just bring that up.
Sure. 2 Mystical Space Defense, a Macrocosmos, and 2 Wiretaps.
Yeah, the 2 Wiretaps are definitely going to be a response for Traptrix, Trapple Nightmare.
Yeah, but that
the Black Corn of Heavens.
Yeah, this the Macrocosmos can be dealt with, but it will cost Miccolo one of those spellbooks from his hand. And of course Miccolo has to worry that his opponent will have some kind of response to this. Anyway, let's bring up the field. Oh, just seeing some attacks. It is getting very warm up here, actually, right now.
Przemyslav not having as much of a good time as he did last game.
Yeah, it was pretty easy for him, easy going for him last game. Book of Moon being taken out during the end phase of Miccolo. Dark Hole.
Oh, that's going to be annoying.
Macrocosmos really pulling its weight there. I did see Przemyslav draw a DD Crow in his hand. Not very helpful in this situation. No, he already controls the Macrocosmos. That's DD Crow again. Sorry, I keep forgetting that one's missing. Miccolo's field. And Miccolo's hand, which is probably more interesting to many of you spellbook players out there. We're seeing Spellbook as Secret. No, it's Crescent, because he has an empty graveyard because of the Macrocosmos. Interesting pick, the Spellbook of Fate. currently has no spellbooks in his graveyard to make maximum use of it. And from what I can see, I don't see a way he can get the... Currently in play, he doesn't have an answer to Macrocosmos. Let's see which card was added. Grand Spellbook Tower. Another card that he currently controls no spellcasters on his side of the field or in his graveyard to make the use of the Spellbook Tower. And that is a Gear Armor on the opposing side of the field. 2 wiretaps, Mystical Space Typhoon. Przemyslav has a really good turn ahead of him here. Here comes Fiendish Chain.
He's deciding on that white-up there.
Yeah, he's got 2 ways he can respond to that if he wants to. It'll be Mystical Space Typhoon or Wiretap. Again, this is entirely if he wants to. He might just decide not to. It's the Mystical Space Typhoon. His opponent can't counter that with his own Wiretap should he have had one. Okay, so we're going to see the Giga Armor search being successful, adding Giga Accelerator to Przemyslav's hand.
Well, White-Tap is definitely going to get rid of a Black Horn of Heaven at this point, more than likely.
Yeah. Or the Trap-Trix Nightmare, Trap-Trix Trap Hole Nightmare.
Maybe both. There is 2 White-Taps.
Yep, there's actually 3 answers over on the Miccolo side of the field. And despite holding very many cards, he's still struggling to get in on this game because of that Macrocosmos. And obviously, Black Horn of Heaven being negated by the second Wiretap. No, is that the first Wiretap or the second?
The first.
The first. Okay. Yep.
Trap-Trix Trap Hole Nightmare being activated. Looking at his hand there at the nothing they can really do if this Giga Gintex is off the field. Is he letting go?
Yeah, he's let that go.
Ah, okay. I see.
Yeah, he's got a Giga Arsenal follow-up. Yeah, he tributes it to get another Giga Armor face, and he flips that, activates the effect to flip it face down.
Now there's one question and one answer, apart from the Trap-Trix Trap Hole Nightmare that's now in hand.
Yeah, there's another...
Spellbook Power?
Yep, it's going to destroy the Giga Armor and allow Miccolo to search for another spellbook card. Judge is just... sorry, not a judge, our tech sports just asking to look at a card. Both our tech sports are actually judges for our events normally, so just help and keep an eye out as we're doing our best to keep Paul out of the line of sight so you guys can see what's going on. Not because we dislike Paul. Paul's a really nice guy.
No. And, oh, there we go.
Okay, let's see what's happening here. The Giga Accelerator being added to Przemyslav's hand. He has 2 of his own cards being totally shut down by that Macrocosmos. His opponent is finally got a Spellbook Tower on the field, but he won't be able to use the effect because all of his spellcasters are banished. and he doesn't control one.
Something tells me he will in a moment.
Yeah, this is during the end phase. It adds the High Priestess to his hand. Was he full on cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, that trap
6, 7.
Nightmare is not going to help.
I'd say Gurgenio.
Oh, he's just
Gigano.
passed his turn.
Okay, 2. Here we go. I have a million spellbooks. Which ones does he reveals to his opponent? That's
Here's my answers.
High Priestess effect being used to banish a spellbook from his hand to finally take down the Macrocosmos. There it goes to the graveyard. And we're going to see a large sequence of plays from Miccolo now that he's finally got that Macrocosmos out of play. Spellbook of Secrets, getting Spellbook Magician, which will then find the Spellbook of Eternity. And there is so many cards banished at this stage that Spellbook of Eternity is almost as good as his Spellbook of Secrets.
Yep, and there we go.
Spellbook of Power.
Przemyslav has conceded.
And giving him 4,000 points of damage. Przemyslav, interesting side deck choices there. His Macrocosmos really put the work in, but he then sided cards into his deck that conflicted with that Macrocosmos.
Yeah.
And he denied himself of those 2 cards, which if they could have been any kind of pressure that he could have placed on Miccolo, he could have possibly have won that game 2-0 very, very easily. It kind of feels like his deck backfired.
A little bit,
His
yeah.
side deck tech. Credit to Miccolo not panicking. He left that macro up a lot longer than I would have expected. He had a first opportunity to get rid of it and chose not to. Or I don't actually remember what happened there, if it was negated or something, but don't panic if you're facing down a very nasty card that shuts your deck down. There's no guarantee that you won't eventually get out of it.
Yeah.
We saw the same thing.
Definitely stall out.
Yeah. With Bujins and Lightsworn, when he tried to run his opponent out of cards, there was we had the Lightsworn player staying very calm, and he eventually won that duel.
Well, it's mostly because deck outs don't really work, because eventually they're going to draw into an answer.
Yeah, if they play an answer, they're going to draw it if you're trying to deck someone out in that way. Let's see if Przemyslav reconsidered any of his side deck options, or if he just considers that.
I don't think he did actually.
Unlucky. They have shuffled up pretty fast here. He's drawn the Macrocosmos again early.
Yeah, and 2 upstart goblins.
Yep. Got 2 upstart goblins, Fiendish Chain, Macrocosmos, Book of Moon, and Kyogre Accelerator. We see a Justice of the Prophecy, Spellbook of Wisdom, Spellbook of Power, Dark Hole, and Book of Moon over on Miccolo's side. Przemyslav starting this duel off, giving his opponent 1,000 life points for a new card.
Do you believe he's playing that twice?
Yep. I believe he's drawn a Soul Charge and a Wiretap.
Again, it's not a fantastic opening hand. There's some answers, but nothing.
Yeah, just having answers though isn't. If you're not asking any questions yourself, then it doesn't matter how many times your opponent just has to keep going. How about now? How about now? How about now? And you get to a point where it's like, okay, eventually that works. Przemyslav has no way of starting his offensive here. Okay, so Justice of the Prophecy is summoned. I'll give you a view of Miccolo's hand. Book of Moon being used to try and deny that Justice.
Spellbook of Wisdom being chained.
Yep. Przemyslav takes a moment to think about if he's going to respond. See, he still has that Soul Charge in his hand at the same time he's got the Macrocosmos. The Macrocosmos is not face up yet, but there's 2 face down cards for Justice, and the Justice of Prophecy is going to activate its effect, which will let him add a Spellbook and a High Priestess of the Prophecy to his hand. He could just as easily be adding the Dark Magician, but
more than likely going to be the High Priestess.
I'd say it's safe to say in this match, because, yeah. But then to win your top 16 match with Dark Magician,
that would be pretty good.
Alright. Let's see what happens here. Przemyslav draws Fiendish Chain for his turn and just goes Giga Armor and pushes it at his opponent. We're getting close to end of match procedure. These guys have got a bit of extra time, but Przemyslav has given his opponent 2,000 additional life points and has already taken quite a bit of damage himself. So if we get into end of match procedure for these guys, those upstart goblins, the Soul Charge in his hand, may prove his downfall. Spellbook of Secrets. I believe that's Macrocosmos. Yes, Macrocosmos being chained to the Spellbook of Secrets to make sure Spellbook of Secrets gets banished. So we end up in the same situation as before, where Przemyslav is hoping to make things as awkward for Miccolo as possible. He has some Fiendish Chains to... yeah, he's using Fiendish Chain on the Spellbook Magician of the Prophecy. And a Book of Moon is going to be chained to that to put the Spellbook Magician face down to allow the search from Spellbook Magician to resolve successfully. Okay, we're going to see a Torrential Tribute added to the field. Be useful against any big pushes that Przemyslav wants to try and make. Giga Arsenal being summoned. Attack being declared against the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, which is going to allow Miccolo another search. And he's going to add Spellbook of Wisdom to his hand. He's making sure that his plays are going to resolve. He's planning something big. And again, all of his spellcaster monsters being banished, causing many problems for Miccolo. And this time Przemyslav has monsters to attack with. And they're currently talking about life points. Just give them a minute to have a look and decide what's going on with
what they need to do there.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on here. We're seeing conflicting cards from Przemyslav. His deck's almost fighting itself in
pretty much
in some regards. Miccolo being forced to jump through those hoops by the Macrocosmos. It causes a lot more problems than you'd originally think when you think, oh, but Spellbook of Eternity adds any spellbook back to my hand, so I'm getting double duty out of all of them, but then it denies you access to so many of your cards. This Macrocosmos is shutting down Miccolo's deck. He's still got the Dark Hole and Torrential Tribute to deal with large pushes from Przemyslav, and he also has a Fiendish Chain in case Przemyslav decides to consolidate into an XC summon. Or so he thinks. There's a wire tap on Przemyslav's side of the field. Gigant X in defense mode. Okay, Trent Tribute being activated. Wiretap.
It looks things trying to evade a silent honor arc.
Yeah, the Spellbook deck though is not really known for playing multiple monsters, level 4 monsters. In fact, plays none on most deck lists that I've seen.
Yeah, it's true.
He's...
What's that? He's just activated there?
There's a chance. Oh, he's activated Gigant X.
No, I'm hitting the trap card on there.
Oh, the trap card, Fiendish Chain.
Ah.
Once again, proving to be the best trap in the game.
Probably gone to that dark
Or
hole.
at least a very, very good one at that. We've got quite a big field. There's 2 Fiendish Chains. Perhaps Przemyslav putting that monster in defense mode is very aware that end of match procedure is fast approaching, and if he's not going to be able to get through any damage, he wants to at least make sure that he's not taking lots of damage back, but he's still behind, even if that is his end game. Still no prophecy monsters in the graveyard, no spellcasters in the graveyard, in order for Miccolo to get that Grand Spellbook Tower activated. Okay, High Priestess of the Prophecy is summoned. And it looks like a Fiendish Chain is used to stop it taking... Well, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's a Fiendish Chain from previous turn. So 3 spellbooks are revealed. High Priestess is special summon. I'm trying to decide which spellbook to banish, I think. Nope, he's going to play Spellbook of Power. Spellbook of Power is going to declare an attack on Gigant X. And he hands a handshake, yes. That's it, that must have been end of match procedure. And he couldn't get through any damage on Miccolo, so he's trying to deny Miccolo anything there. Loses his monster and knows he's not going to be able to do it next turn. He just reveals the next card and he's just like, yeah, I've got nothing.
Yeah, I'm losing.
I kind of feel like Przemyslav, despite having that very easy victory in the first game, almost was his own defeat there.
Yeah. He did lose because he played Macrocosmos.
The Macrocosmos should have been fantastic tech and did cause a lot of problems for Miccolo.
Well, of course, all the problems for himself as well.
He had that Soul Charge, he had that DD Crow that he was playing. He knew how to take apart the spellbook matchup, but just didn't I don't think he anticipated how much it was going to affect his own game.
Yeah. I mean, there was just a massive amount of cards that he just shut down of his own. Yeah,
well, in the end that proved to be the fall of Przemyslav. Very nice guy, played very well with the cards he had, just maybe the side deck cards not working out for him.
Definitely. If he was able to have a graveyard, he'd probably be able to play something right on that last turn as well.
Yeah,
that's because the Gigant X was going.
That's true. And Miccolo, continuing the trend that we've seen of every Prophecy deck we feature seamlessly winning its match, will be advancing to the top 8 and possibly the most important match for all the competitors here today.
4.
This is the match that you want to win. If you get this far, you really want to win the top 8. And then regardless of what happens, you've got your seat in the World Championships and you're getting that trip to Rimini and all of the other goodies that come with it and the opportunity to represent Europe and try and claim that title of World Champion.
You could be our champion.
Well, probably not you. If you're currently watching this, you are not one of our remaining 8 players.
Actually, the round down there ended quite a while ago, so it's possible.
It's possible. So it could be one of those guys sat next to you in the feature match room.
Yeah, it could be.
One of you.
Yep.
No, 4 of you.
Not the staff member that's behind the camera that thinks I'm pointing at him.
Oh yeah, no, we're not. No.
Yeah, no. Are you?
You get that. You get that sometimes. You just you're randomly pointing at something and the wrong guy.
You point to camera, or you point to something that obviously the people can't see here, and you know people just
they assume
you're pointing at them. Yeah.
It's when you do it in the street and someone comes up and goes hi, and they know you and you don't know who they are.
Yeah. There's that.
And then it's almost like you've signalled that you know who that person is.
Yeah.
And then you have a conversation and you get past the point where you can ask who it was talking to you.
Yeah, it does happen.
It keeps happening to me.
So yeah, that was Miccolo that won there.
Yeah, so let's get back on topic. Miccolo taking that down with Prophecy. I don't know how many Prophecy decks are remaining, and I do not know the fate of the Watt deck that people were asking about earlier. Przemyslav did very, very well to get to the top 16. Hopefully he takes a lot away from this. Next year he'll come back even stronger. Just literally 2 games away from one of those seats for Rimini.
Definitely.
I wonder how much the coverage that we've done this weekend is, and the results of this tournament is going to affect very close upcoming North American, the North American WCQ and the Oceanics, which I know many of these players are tuning in, trying to get the scoop on the latest tech to play. I imagine we're going to have quite a big impact, or maybe people have already made their decisions and they said, well, that's Europe. We're a bit different, because you've got to be mindful that
every area has their own meta game.
Every area. You've got the players that are usually successful always playing different decks, and while we're seeing a bigger Giga here, we might see a higher number of Murmels or something over in Oceania. I don't know, but maybe some stuff rubs off from this event and sticks and gives somebody the winning edge that they need.
And again, if you want to check out any of the other feature matches that's happened and that has not been on stream, click the link over there on YugiOhCard.com. Or again, if you're on Twitch, don't click up there, you'll leave the page.
Have to keep saying that because people are doing it.
Yes.
1 minute. Right.
Yeah. So it's definitely ready and raring to go.
Yeah,
for
we should be getting started very soon.
Very soon.
So we're now coming up to the final stages of the European Championships in 2014 Amsterdam. 2014 in Amsterdam, sorry.
It is in Amsterdam. Again, the building has not moved. Or maybe it has.
No, we're just very, very hot up here right now and need some water. So guys, we'll catch up with you very, very soon. Just give us a chance to get a quick break and we'll be here with the most important, well, one of the most important matchups.
The final is pretty important.
Yeah,
but the top 8 is also important.
So guys, bear with us. We'll be back soon.